How's it going, guys? Welcome back. So this is again another one of our 25 days of giveaways videos. If you guys are new to the channel or you're not familiar with it, we're doing 25 videos. 25 days is the goal here of 25 giveaways, whether it be Xbox, whether it be PlayStation. So today's giveaway is likely the last Kucherov we do. I think we do one more. This could be the last one. Today's Thursday. Maybe we do one on Friday too, and then we amp it up from there. Next week, some bigger prizes there. But we're starting with a Kucherov today, and if you are new to the channel, what you have to do is just comment Kucherov's name down below in the comments. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We will randomly select a winner in about 48 hours. That's what we've been doing here every 2 days. This one, of course, being for Xbox. Again, we do stuff for PlayStation as well. So make sure you follow your YouTube notifications, because that is the way you will be notified. If you did win, I'll go ahead and reply to one of your guys' comments, and you will be contacted that way, and you can just reply to me from there. But we have big news today. The big news being EA released a new update. This update centering around the ever so controversial L2 cut, LT cut, whatever you want to call it. EA put a supposed nerf in it. I say supposed because we'll dig a little deeper into that, where they did say they will go farther into having, you know, possibly some other updates to the LT cut, or it's going to be nerfed a little bit further. Some other stuff, they're doing some further testing and whatnot on whether or not they should implement that into the game. But as for right now, the two main updates that they mentioned is if players continually pivot, their skating will be impacted more realistically, and puck carriers' pivot speeds will be impacted by trying to pivot at high speeds to simulate what they would need to do to keep control of the puck. Meaning, I guess at the end of the day, after playing a couple games, checking this out, you realize that the thing I think a lot of people were worried about was the L2ing in general, where you skate backwards and sideways. A lot of that stuff, personally, I haven't noticed a difference. I have not noticed a big difference. I mean, it was in this game particularly, I skated in L2 backwards with Headman, which has always been my biggest gripe in this game, is that sure, if you want to make it unrealistic, which the L2 cutting, let's be completely honest, L2 cutting is just nothing part of NHL. You want to make it all unrealistic in the game, then go ahead, I guess, if that's what you want to do, kind of like they do with a lot of deking. But when it comes to that stuff, the big body defensemen should not have the ability to do that stuff. They should lose the puck. This one was a base Headman too. I was just rocking a base one. So it's a base 84 Headman and Hut. And you see him, you see the Charas, like they skate backwards, they deke, they dangle. That's always been my biggest, I guess, issue with the stuff like that. Is, I mean, sure, if you want to have it in the game, should it be in the game? No, but I know people, you know, if you take it out now, it's going to be a whirlwind of an issue with people, because so many people have adapted to using it. In the last 2 years, it's become the meta of the game, and for you to go out there and people that struggled to enter the zone, for example, for the longest time, myself, I was one of them, for the longest time struggled to enter the zone. Instead of learning how to enter the zone properly, we got the L2 cut to bail us out here, where you can just skate in backwards, which again, it's not realistic hockey. And at the same time though, when you take that out of the game though, and you take that from people like, oh, I was actually good at the game now, I had ways to enter the zone, when you take that away, you're gonna get a lot of raging fans, right? So I see what EA is doing here, if they are trying to slowly taper it away per se. But as of right now, I wouldn't panic. I would not be panicking if you're a big L2, or personally, I'd like to see it completely gone. Honestly, it benefits me. I've actually played better offensively. Now, defensively, it makes me never want to play ESHL defenseman ever again, because it's next to impossible to defend. But from an offensive standpoint, this is the best I've ever been from an offensive standpoint in this game, probably, in years. And it's all because of an unrealistic mechanic added to the game. But I think what the focal point, per se, of the tuner here is you can, you know, skate backwards, you can spin around, all that stuff happens. But the focal point more of this tuner was to, like, if you watch, how do you explain it? Almost like a wiggle L2 cut, where they're wiggling back and forth really quickly, pivoting back and forth. That is why, you know, you listen to what they say. They're saying pivoting. They're not saying spinning in circles. They're not saying skating backwards. It's the strict, like, where you pivot back and forth, where you've seen guys previously, when they pivot back and forth, not only could they control the puck at will, but they would also hold that speed and almost be faster. There's a lot of times you can see like a little bit of a speed burst coming from guys doing stuff like that, where they would just zoom around the ice, just pivoting back and forth, like left, right, left, right, left, right. That is what's supposed to be slower in this game. Not so much the just hurry up and twisting and skating backwards into the zone continuously, but it's supposed to be more of a spam thing. Almost kind of thinking of it like how they nerfed the poke checks to an extent back in, what was that, last year, 2 years ago, where now if you spam the poke check, after the first poke check, you slow down. So if you poke check again and again, it's just going to make you slower. That's why if you poke check and you miss, and a guy's just straight lining down the side of the ice, they usually blow by you. Because if you miss that first poke check, you miss that second poke check, when you spam it, it slows your defender down. And it essentially just results in him, you know, flying past you, because you was just spamming the use of the poke check. Almost feels like that's the same way we're seeing currently with the L2 goods. They're trying to force you, or prevent people from spamming back and forth. I don't think this is, you know, quite the update. Like I said, I think it's a dip your toes in the water type of thing. See how people react, because there's a lot of people that feel like the L2 cup puts a skill gap in the game. And they're not wrong. When people say it does take skill, it does take skill. You're right, it does. Like, personally, I can do, you know, I can do it to an extent. I can do it, I feel like, at an exceptional rate, but I can't do, you know, like what the really good players will do is we talk about it. You know, they do this spam pivoting back and forth that gives you that speed burst. It makes you very, very hard to knock off the puck, very hard to even keep up with in general. So yeah, you're right. It is, you know, it does take skill, but again, we bring up the, you know, when we start talking about realisticness, it's not realistic. At the end of the day, there was a skill gap in this game before NHL 19 came out, right? And obviously, that's when I always like to refer back to. That's when the L2 became the meta. It was NHL 19. Before then, back before NHL 19, people knew how to like properly enter the zone. The good players would enter the zone going laterally. They'd go whatever they had to do to get in the zone. But this L2ing where you can't knock guys off the puck kind of became the new popular thing to do. So it's obviously gonna be a difficult thing for EA to just, you know, completely take away. So I like the way they're doing it here. They mentioned, they're like, we're gonna consider adding some other stuff in here, stuff we've tested, making sure it works out properly, because you don't want to just, if you completely take it away at once, I feel like there's gonna be an absolute frenzy. I'd be happy with it, but I feel like there'd be an absolute frenzy. And like I said, it benefits me right now. If we're being completely honest, it's a move that is so popular in the game because everybody loves playing offense. Everybody loves scoring goals. But when you look at it from a defensive standpoint, you can't defend it. It's next to impossible half the time, especially somebody that's good at it. And more importantly, this game is made to be realistic. It is supposed to be a simulation. As long as the L2 cuts in the game, I've said it before, as long as the L2 cuts in the game, as long as you can put the puck on the backhand and not fall off the puck, which is still an Xbox thing, not a PlayStation thing. So I'm pretty sure if you're talking to PlayStation, you're kind of confused there. Because there's something in one of the producers said something about it, how they went through the, I don't know, the programming, everything. For some reason, it's different for PlayStation compared to Xbox with the hitting mechanics in the game where you can turn the puck on your backhand and not fall off the puck. But I've always mentioned, as long as that's up in the game, it's an arcade game. Sure, if they want to make it an arcade game, go for it. But if the goal is a simulation game, you have to remove the L2 cup because it's not realistic. And it's an absolute unrealistic hockey play. I know I've seen people show examples before. Like, what do you mean nobody's ever done a spinorama in real life? But you watch like a clip of a guy do a spinorama and he literally takes like a quarter of the ice to do it. Compared to NHL 19 where you can do it in like this small enclosed area in such a tight-knit space. So it definitely, you know, they're trying to work on it. I applaud them for that. Happy to see it. And it's, you know, between that, like I said, between that and the hitting guys from behind and not falling off the puck type of deal, which is currently more of an Xbox and a PlayStation thing, is I feel like that's the two biggest gameplay issues in the game. And besides that, I think it's a great game. I think the gameplay, I've always said it, I really love the gameplay. But from a person that loves playing defense, when you take those two things right there and you put them into the gameplay, it makes playing defense absolutely a nightmare for the most part, unfortunately. Where you're forced to, you know, almost forced to let them skate in backwards a lot of the time, unless you can corner them or knock them off the puck. Which, you know, you come in with a guy that's a tank going in backwards, you're not knocking them off the puck. That's the difficulty. That's my, you know, it's always been my thing though. I've loved the gameplay this year. I hope they continue to work to try to make it as realistic as possible. I'm glad to see this update. I hope this is a step in the right direction. But we'll see. We'll see. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on it as well. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.